I want to be that mom that helps the other moms navigate this world of the complexities of our children. If the mama is not good, is not well, your child is not going to be well. You need to take care of yourself, mamas. There's no way around it. You just got to do it. Even if that's all you can do for that day, that you did something for yourself.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Beauty in You podcast. I'm so excited for today's episode as we're going to talk about self-care, moms, and the importance of creating a safe environment for our moms. Our guest today is the founder of Collective Wisdom for Complexkids, a support group for mothers with children with disabilities. She is passionate about helping families reevaluate their priorities and guiding them from confusion to clarity while raising complex children. Welcome to the Beauty in You podcast, Michelle. How are you?
Yeah, I love being here. I've been waiting so long to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your story and for being a part of my rediscovery journey.
Oh, so nice of you to have me.
So I want to talk about the woman behind the brand, the woman who's creating such a great space for women and children. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what led you to what you're doing now.
Sure. I can start from way back when, which is kind of cool because I grew up in Brazil. I was born and raised in Brazil.
Really?
And I came to the US when I was 17 years old. English is my second language. I've been here longer than I ever lived in Brazil. So, but my family's still all down there. So that is like the basis of who Michelle is. For the past 30 years, I've been in the United States, and about 10 years ago, I had my very first child, and he was a boy, and he was premature, and he was a tiny, tiny little thing.
Oh my goodness.
And he was 8 weeks early, stayed in the NICU, and it was a joy in the beginning, but it was hard too. And I like to say that it kind of, my journey in becoming who I am today started when he came into my life, right? And so he is my world, along with my daughter and my husband. And we live in Huntington Beach, California, and we love the weather here. But my son, throughout the years, he started showing some developmental delays, and he didn't talk at all. He had no words until he was almost 4 years old.
Okay.
So for us, it was a very hard thing to deal with. And learning how to navigate that environment was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And about a year ago, I decided that I can help other moms because I've gone through this multiple times over and over and over again. And so I feel like had I had a mentor, somebody in the past, somebody who could lead me the right way instead of trialing so many things, it would have been so much better in my life. And I want to be that mom that helps the other moms navigate this world of the complexities of our children.
Yes, that is very much needed. I needed you a long time ago as well. My son, well, right now he has a 504, but we noticed with him early on, but he was always late to walk, like really late, like 18 months. I think he may have started walking, and then talking, same thing. I didn't notice because I was really just by myself, me and my husband. I didn't notice until I had him around another 3-year-old that he probably should be saying a little bit more words. We were just always talking for him. He communicated, we pointed, we were like, oh, here. So we did that for him. And then when I had him around another 3-year-old, I'm like, Mom, he doesn't talk like that. Like, why does he not talk like that? What am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? What did I do? And then when he tried to talk, he stuttered really, I mean, it was really bad. He doesn't stutter anymore now. It's crazy because when I tell his story and you look at him now, they're like, really? I'm like, yes, we put a lot of work in with him. Writing was late, everything. Reading was late. I think in fourth grade, he was still reading at like kindergarten, first grade. It was a
Mm.
lot. And so I had to learn how to advocate for my child and give him the tools he needed to be successful. And like, I'm going to write this to the school because you should be testing him for this, this, and this. Oh, you don't want to do it. I'm going to have to go above you. Oh, I'm going to have to go above you. And like the fighting and the constant, like it's exhausting. He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore and he has a 504. He started a new school and they just did the
Mhm.
PSAT. And the person contacted me and was like, "Oh, I forgot to transfer his accommodation over from the college board, so he's not going to get accommodations for his PSAT." So it never
Baby
ends. Like
mama.
you're always advocating for them. So we need you. We need
Ye
you.
Yes, yes, and it's one of the things that I love to say is that early intervention is the key in everything when it comes to your complex kids.
Mhm.
So, a lot of people come to me, and I'll tell you a story actually, because I think that this will illustrate a little bit of what I wanted to say. When Drake wasn't talking and he was like about 3 years old, I mean, he had no words. He couldn't say mama, he couldn't say dada. His first word was actually more. His first, like, he actually came, like, wanted to say was more. Like, we can get him to say some things, like some sounds, but more was this first word. You know, when that was happening, I remember everybody coming to me and saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. He's going to outgrow it. It's going to be okay. So and so didn't speak until he was 5 years old, or so and so didn't speak until he was 10." I don't
Yeah.
know. But everybody would come and tell you, "Oh, don't worry about it." But the thing about it is that, and you probably discover this after a while with your son, is that the earlier you get them help, the earlier they're going to develop.
Mm.
And their little brains are so ready for that when they're little. And if you don't take advantage of that time, it will be so much harder later on in life for them. And one thing is that I applaud you for right now, even at, he's 16 years old. There you are, Mama Bear,
Mhm.
fighting, advocating, because it is a lifelong thing. When you have a kid that has any kind, and it doesn't matter if it's a reading problem, if it's dyslexia, if it's this practice, it doesn't matter what it is. If they have an issue, you will be their advocate for their lives until they can become their own advocate.
Yes. It's so important. It's so important. And it makes me emotional a little bit because even now, his like reading, for example, was just so bad. I don't want to say bad. It was just delayed. It was just we really
Yes.
wasn't there yet. Okay. We wasn't there.
Yes.
And he can read when he reads chapter books. I still do that with him. Like, yes, he's 16, and I still say, okay, what's the reading for American literature? Chapters 1 and 2. Okay, let's go in the office. And I make him read it to me out loud and then give me a summary after, not all at once, but we have to break it up. Give me a summary of what you just read. And although he hates it because he's like, Mom, I'm old enough. I'm like, no, because when you take the quiz and you get a 95 or 100, you're happy, right? Okay, so we have to do the things that
Yes.
work. And so now it's just teaching him that even though it's tiring or like, I don't want to really do, Mom, really? Mom, I know you're getting older, but it works. And we still got to make it to college. So come on, you can do the work. Let's do it. But just teaching him those little things. But yeah, it starts young
Yes.
and doing the things he doesn't like to do even then. And just seeing him grow now, I just like when he reads, I'm like, Trey, do you understand you could not even say half of these words? Do you understand that you weren't able to even put it together? It just took you a little bit longer. And now he knows like where I'm strong at. Okay. Or I need to pause here. Or I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm tired, Mom. I can't. Okay, that's cool. I've taught him now, you don't have to do it. Cool. Stop here. Understand what you did? Okay. And
Yes.
his teachers know
Yes.
as well. Like, okay, Trey's going to give you up until this point, but when he's burnt out, he's burnt out. And so teaching him also to advocate that to your teachers, because I'm not going to be there with you in the next step. So I need to get you now learning how to do things on your own, taking your medicine on your own, doing all those things by yourself. But it's hard, and it gets frustrating. And I'm telling you, it gets emotionally draining, and it's
Oh,
a lot.
yes. And, that's one of the things that is probably one of the most important things is to take care of yourself. If we don't, if the mama is not good, is not well, your child is not going to be well.
Mhm.
So when you are overwhelmed, when you are feeling like underwater, like you cannot climb out or do anything, you have to take time for yourself, because you do not want to be in that place, because your child will also be in that place with you.
Mm.
So even though you are working hard and tirelessly for them, you need to take care of yourself, mamas. There's no way around it. You just got to do it.
You have to do it. You have to. It's so important. And I had to learn that too. Like, I am mentally drained. I am extremely stressed out. I'm allowed to feel these things because we're going to bat here. Like, who I need to email, who I need to call. I'm not tired.
Here's the thing, though, is that there are moms that will do what you're doing and that will do what I'm doing. But there are so many moms out there that have no idea. They have no idea what to do, how to do it, what their rights are, what their children's rights are. Like, they have no idea, and they just go along with whatever is given to them through the school districts, through the schools, through the state programs, through the insurance companies. They don't know how to fight for these things. And that is how you become an advocate for your child, is learning how to do all of those things at once. And it is not easy. Not easy.
You're absolutely right. Because I didn't know. I was literally about trial and error, like just reaching out and sending emails and Googling. Google is my friend. Like, what does this say? What what do I have to do? What does that mean? It's a lot. Even the testing, like you talk about insurance, and freshman, that summer between 8th grade and freshman year, I had to get him retested. And of course, well, my insurance didn't cover any of that. None, not even $1. And I had to pay for that test
Isn't
out of
it
pocket.
crazy? It's awful. It
Terrible.
is awful. Awful.
Hmm.
Insurance companies are, I really truly believe that they have somebody with, like, those cartoons that they used to have the stamps, the denied,
Dude.
denial, or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what I can see. Like, I can picture somebody at the insurance company with that stamp just going, denied, 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 everything that comes through.
Mm.
Because what they want is for you to put in work. So they will pay only when you fight.
Yep.
And if you don't fight, you're paying out of pocket. You're doing all these things. How can you afford that when your child has so many therapies and so many other things that you have to get done? And I mean, seriously,
Yeah. It was
how?
it was
So,
extremely expensive. Like, I remember, like, because I was probably in halfway in tears. I think she felt bad for me because I was like explaining the situation. Like, I'm trying to get him here. I'm trying to get him, and but she was really nice. She's like, first she had a wait list. Then she called me back anyway. She's like, I don't know what it is about you. I really like you. This is what we're gonna do. I still had to pay out of pocket. I don't think it was as much because she did help us out, because we were like, look, we're trying our best here. Like, I will drive him wherever I have to go.
yeah.
I will go do whatever I have to do, but I need to get this test done. But again, if you have that mom that's just extremely worn out, or they can't pay even a portion of it out of their pocket, then you're stuck with whatever the school gives you, which is not always the best. There's some good workers out there. I'm not going to say that at all. Everyone is not, but it's like, it's rough.
It is. I actually just a couple of weeks ago, I was on my child's IEP. And you know what that is?
Hmm.
In the individualized educational
Yeah.
plan. So we have, that's another thing, knowing all those acronyms. Seriously, how are you
IEP,
supposed to know all
504s,
that
how to get
stuff?
them tested for that. If they don't qualify for an IEP,
Wait,
most likely they're going to qualify for
oh
a
my
504.
God.
Girl, I got you.
They,
Send it.
I know all the acronyms. It's like a list that never ending, and that's just for the school district. Then you go to the insurance company, and then you just start all over again.
Mhm.
Anyway, we were in this IEP, and I found out that my son, like in his IEP, it states that he will be seen by an occupational therapist twice a week, and he was only being seen by an occupational therapy assistant, which I fully understand that they are great at what they do, that they can treat the children, but they're supposed to be under the care of an occupational therapist. The occupational therapist hadn't even seen my child,
Oh my
did not
goodness.
know anything about him. All that she knew was what the assistant was telling her. She had never even met him in person.
Mm.
And so, of course, I'm like, how is this possible? The problem is that now there's such a shortage of therapists out there, occupational therapists, behavioral therapists. I mean, psychologists.
Yeah.
You can't get any kind of therapy in network anywhere. It's insane. And the shortage is crazy. And so it trickles down to the school district. So if the insurance and the outside where they're making a little bit more money, if they don't even have a way to fill their positions, how are you going to get those in the school districts? It's mind-boggling to me how short we are when it comes to pediatric therapy and the care that comes with these children who are my complex kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible how we are short in everything.
Yeah.
So,
It doesn't make sense in my mind. It
mm-mm.
doesn't make sense, which is why we are always going to bat for them and
Yes.
trying to get them everything they need in order to be successful and to know their rights. So it's not, I don't say life, I know life is not fair, but Lord, can you give me something? Give us something. Give us something.
That's true. That is very true.
What advice would you give for a mom who is just drained? Like, what self-care tips would you give them?
You know, it's funny. I was just talking to one of the mamas that she has a son with the same genetic disorder that my son has. It's TBR1. It's super rare. And only 100, like about 200 kids, 200 people in the world have been diagnosed with it. I was talking to her and she's like, I just don't have time. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I'm worried about him all the time. I don't know what to do. And, I started thinking about what I used to do and what I do now, even. So I work full time. I got a full time job. I am a working mama
Mhm.
and I'm doing this kind of on the side until hopefully someday it will become a full time thing, which I really, really want this to be my life because I love helping other mamas. But one of the things that you do is you pull over inside your car and you take 5 deep breaths. Even
Mm.
if that's all you can do for that day, that you did something for yourself and it makes you feel better. Other things that you can do that are really, because it is hard. You feel like when you're taking time away from your child, that whenever you do something for yourself, you feel like you're taking time away from your child. You feel
Mhm.
guilty for doing that. So, one of the things that I like to say too is like, you know what? Wake up 10 minutes before everybody else or 15 minutes before. Get that cup of coffee, whatever your poison is in the morning. For me, it's a Dr. Pepper. And, you just sit there and you enjoy it for like 5 or 10 minutes. Read something on your phone, or I was going to say, get the newspaper outside and read it, but it doesn't exist anymore.
It's like, where's the newspaper? What is that?
But, get a book or whatever it is, just take that time. And I think that sometimes we just say, oh, I'm just going to sleep a little longer, but that's not really taking time for yourself. So get up a little earlier and just do that.
Yeah. I agree with the time before, like everyone wakes up. That's my quietest moment. I love getting up. I'm a
Yes.
tea person. Get my tea going, sit at the island, and I'm good. I'm good.
There
But
you
once
go.
my tea's done and all that, I'm like, okay, here we go. And then it's like, get up, get up. Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Yeah. It's time to start.
We
It's
gotta
time
go.
to
Let's go. Let's
start.
go. Yeah.
Yes. 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 And that's what you got to do. So once you start with those little things like taking deep breaths, taking those 5 to 10 minutes, I think that you'll be able to find other times because it will make you feel better and you're going to crave that little time. So you'll schedule that more into your time, into your daily, you know, real life, I guess you can call it
Yeah.
the real life.
Your real life. Yeah. Once
Yeah.
you become, I think, intentional about your self-care, because at the end of the day, we must be intentional. So just as much time and energy that we're putting into our complex kids and we're being intentional and we're scheduling those appointments and we're getting on the phone and we're sending those emails, we have to put our own time on there as well so we can breathe. So we schedule that phone call. We got 15 minutes for ourselves to get our lives together and then we go back at it. But once you become
Yes.
intentional about those things and you realize how you feel once you take that little bit of time for yourself, you'll notice your time might get a little bit longer, 15 minutes to 20 minutes to 30 minutes to like, I need a spa day or whatever you need. But you'll notice like once you start attaching that actions and feelings together, you'll begin to notice, okay, I am a lot better when I have this time before I wake up or when I schedule this time for myself or when I do this by myself to get all the things on my list complete. So let me be a little bit more intentional about myself and my self-care, which ultimately helps my well-being, but everyone else in the house.
Yes. Because if mama's not well, nobody else is well in the house.
Nobody. Don't come over here.
Nobody. No, not even the dog. I'm telling you, not even the dog in the house.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my poor doggy. She gets it for me sometimes. Daddy, don't
She's like,
you
what did I
I'm
do?
telling you. Yes. I'm just trying to get a little pet from you. I'm just trying to get a little love. And I'm like yelling at her. So I'm telling you, the house does not work when mama is not well. So just take your time to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you let my listeners know where they can find you to work with you? Because what you're doing, there's a big gap. Like we need this. We need the support. I needed you then. I got you now, so we're all good.
Ye-
So
yes.
talk to me about, how they can find you and work with you and connect with you.
Yes. Well, it's wisdom, the number 4, Complexkids. So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, any social media. And my website is wisdom number 4, complexkids.com. And you can also look me up on my name. I am trying to get out there, do some speaking engagements in some school districts. So if anybody works for a school district or anything like that, if they're willing to have a speaker come in and talk to the parents and talk to the teachers or anything kind of in that position, in that part of point of view, I would love to do that. So, and that is under my name, Michelle Choairy, which is a hard one, but it's Choairy. And just find me. I'm everywhere. I would love to have you. I would love to talk to you and see how I can help you if you need my help or if you know anybody that needs my help.
I will make sure to link all of your information in the show notes so they can get to you. And if I were you as well, I would start reaching out to these school guidance counselors as well,
Yes.
assistant principals and guidance counselors. I would start reaching out to them saying, hey, this is my talk. I'm willing to come in during
Yeah.
your parents meeting. When you get, they get the parents.
Yes.
You already know school is going to start. They're going to have like 2 weeks of meetings coming up. And I would try to jump myself in there
Yes. Yes.
for one of those, for sure.
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit of that here in my school district and some of the other school districts around. I am also working with some therapists
Yeah.
to help the mamas that like at speech therapy clinics my neurologists have been, well, not mine, Drake's neurologists have been the biggest advocate for me. And it's so great because she looks at me and she goes, I'm going to get you set up with all these things. Here, give me some flyers that I can hand out to the parents. And she has been, it's been amazing because they see it firsthand, the need of these parents. So I'm getting out there. But if you know anybody that needs this, let me know. I love to help. I love this work. I'm so passionate about it. And thank you so much for letting me get this word out to your audience
Yes.
and to the work that you are doing and helping these women. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much. And I got you. We're definitely going to be connected. I love, like I said, I love what you're doing. I see that you're passionate about it. I feel it. I understand where you're coming from. So I'm just, thank you. Thank you, like I said before, for being a part of my journey and sharing everything that you do. I know you're going to be extremely successful. We're going to talk again. You're going to be like, yeah, this is my full time now. So
Yes. Give me just a few more months, and you'll see it.
you got it. You got it. All right, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that little bell, ring it. And if you're listening to this where you stream all of your podcasts, make sure to drop that review. All right, you guys, until next time.